thing, we had a big problem covering the budget. I think you're not too familiar with it, but just off the record, how would you solve our budget problem? We have different alternatives, get money from the state because we've cut services, lay people off, take concessions with the rank and file to keep us afloat.
Well, one of the things I think is most important is property values, because aren't property taxes one of the inputs for the budget?
Well, we do too much on the property tax. I don't think that goes to the county, right?
That goes to the county.
That goes to the county.
Well, I know property values are very depressed, so that would be one thing that I would suggest. But if we could attract a business or two or three in here that would employ people,
right,
that would increase the revenues. And even if we have to give them a tax holiday for the first 10 years or something like that to attract them in, I think that would be made up for easily by the increased employment.
Thank you.
Could you describe your background, including your education and work experience, and explain why you believe it will help you become an effective counsel?
I appreciate that question because I think I have a kind of a unique background. I was born in southeastern Pennsylvania and joined the military, the United States Air Force, when I was 17, right out of high school. And I left home and I never went back. I was in the military for 20 years, and I finished my career in Maryland in 1999, and then we moved to Steubenville in 2005, bought the house there in 5th and Franklin. While I was in the military, I learned the Russian language. I was given the language. I became a Russian linguist. That was my career field. So I can read, write, speak, listen in Russian, and that's the way I was employed. I rose in rank from Airman Basic, lowest level, up to Master Sergeant, E7 grade. And in my career, some of the jobs that I held, I was an airborne mission supervisor, which means on a mission on an aircraft full of enlisted folks in the back. I was the lead enlisted guy to take care of the mission that we did on the aircraft. And I was also a mission superintendent when I was in Japan, and we had an operations floor, 24/7 operation that with 100 people on each shift, and I was the superintendent of that whole shift, and I reported to the commander, and so it was the two of us led that together. Then when I was transferred back to the States in Fort Meade, Maryland, I was assigned to the National Security Agency, and I worked there for 5 years, kind of the twilight of my career. And I ran a little team of analysts, and this was, of course, after the breakup of the Soviet Union, and so there was still a lot of stuff to do with Russia, Russian things. So we were very busy, and a lot of our reporting went to the highest levels of government. So it was pretty important. It was good knowing that you had an important work to do every day. And so when I got out of the military, I kind of bounced around a little bit. I didn't want to do the language anymore. I could have come back a week later and gone to the same desk in civilian clothes and been a double dipper, and I could still but I just wanted to put that behind me and work for myself for a change. So I bounced around a little bit in the corporate America, and we moved to Steubenville when my daughter graduated high school, and it was a low cost of living. We were able to sell our house at the top of the housing bubble there in Baltimore. So when we bought here, it was a kind of step down in expenses. So it was a good thing for us. And what I do now is I'm a division manager for Lighthouse Catholic Media, which is we sell CDs and books and DVDs and all different kinds of media to Catholic parishes. And I'm in charge of 5 dioceses, including the Steubenville, Youngstown, Pittsburgh, and all dioceses around here. And I lead a team of people that are in sales, that part-timers. They sell local to them, and I kind of manage all of that effort. And that's what I do during the day. And so I can set my own hours. I can take time to meet the people in the ward, and get to know people and what the issues are. And I believe my leadership abilities that were given to me through the Air Force be valuable here, and I really want to give back to the community. It's a beautiful city with great history, and I think it's just kind of sad the way it's sort of depressed now.
Jeff, Franciscan University is biggest part of your work. I'd like to know your view of Franciscan University and its role in the future of our city.
Well, if I understand right, and I may be wrong, but I think it's probably the biggest employer in the city. I don't know. Maybe Trinity, probably, well, okay, so pretty close. So, of course, they're very, very important. And I'm not personally affiliated with the university at all, but I am Catholic. And I think what that university does is a tremendous thing for the church. The church in the United States is in kind of a bad situation, but one of the few bright spots is Franciscan University. And they send young folks out to parishes all across the country, and they're on fire. They're the people, they know their faith, they're good, solid people, and they're helping rejuvenate Christianity in the United States in these various parishes all around the country. Now, what they can do here for Steubenville is we get the kind of the benefit of those professors and all the people that work up there that actually live here with us, and they worship with us, and they're they're here. So I think it's a great thing. And it's one of the reasons I moved to Steubenville. I'm not, like I said, I'm not affiliated with the university, but the faith community here is so vibrant. I wanted my wife and daughter to be here to experience that. So.
Yeah, Jeff, we started out, we know Scott, we know the other candidates, but we've never met you. So my name's Bob Magna.
Hi, Bob.
And I'm the 6th Ward Councilman. I think we just took for granted that we...
Yeah, well, I did a little bit of research on that. I saw your pictures and your names.
But
Sorry about
my question to you is, what do you perceive as the 3 most important concerns facing the city of Steubenville?
Well, I think the top one, I think everybody's going to say the same thing, is crime, especially in my ward, in the 4th Ward there, because, and I don't think that's, I think it's more of a symptom of a deeper problem. I think if we had more, businesses moving in, employing people, that property values would go up, crime would be reduced, and I think that's kind of the biggest thing is the crime. And of course, the second thing I think would be the property values, and the third thing, I think maybe there's just not enough of a feeling of I don't know what you call it, I don't know, comradeship or patriotism for the town. You know what I mean, like the town spirit in the ward. I think a lot of the people that live in this ward are sort of underprivileged. They're they're a little bit more poor, maybe on public housing and stuff, and they just don't feel like they can contribute to the town, to the vibrancy of the city. And so I think if we could somehow harness their energy and point it towards doing good things, I think that would help. So those 3, I think, crime, property values, and sort of town spirit would be my biggest 3. But I really don't have an agenda. Like I say, I'm a good listener. I have a good head on my shoulders. I've got leadership experience, and I'm willing to listen to people and try to help find solutions. So I'm not coming here with an agenda. So if you're looking for that, that's you need somebody else.
Okay, thank you.
Jeff, I'm Willie Paul.
Hi, Bob.
Nice to meet you. And I want to thank you for your time and your service to our country.
Oh, you're welcome.
Your years in the Air Force. I want to thank you very much for that. With that being said, I'm going to go to the sea. Not really the sea, but water. I'm going to go to water. Okay. As you know, we have a air, sea. Maybe the world will be land. I don't know. Okay. So you have. As you know, we have as I said earlier, we have a river that runs through this town. but yet we constantly have problems with our water. Not water cleaning it, but water, keeping the water rates at a reasonable rate. What do you see, we may have to have a water rate increase. Is there any other way you think maybe we could come up with looking at maybe not having a water rate increase? What do you think about a water rate increase?
Well, I don't really know very much about the issue, so I can't, I would have to study up on it to give you an informed decision. My first impulse would be, you know, if it's needed to ensure safe water, well, there's not much choice. But if there was a way around it, I don't think the people, especially the poorer folks living in the fourth ward, would appreciate, you know, would be able to afford it. But I don't know. I did some reading online. There's a new technology. You know the guy who invented the what do you call it, the Segway, that little two-wheel thing.
Yeah.
The guy who invented that has invented a way to distill water. It's cheap. He's thinking about third world countries, you know, and it runs on 1 kilowatt. It's not expensive to run, and he just needs distribution. But I think within the next, I don't know, few years, 10 years maybe, that technology is going to be able to help us deal with our water problem. But in the meantime, I don't know what the best answer is. I'd have to research it to, you know, talk to the right people to find out what the right answer is to that.
We always have EPA pounding us about water rates, or not water rates, but the water system itself and wastewater, and so we have the EPA on our back a lot too, so it's something that, you know, we got to learn to deal with, and
Yeah.
always think of a way to, maybe you had the idea.
I think we're living on old technology, right? Just filtration, right? Is that what we're doing?
Right.
And maybe there's something that's coming down the road that'll be able to solve our problems all across the country. But yeah, it's important to have the water. Most of the people that I talk to, they don't even trust the tap water. You know, they just drink bottled water. So I don't know if that's raising water rates and they're buying water. You know what I mean? It's like a double whammy.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the answer is. It's a sticky problem. So
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
These two bottles, we actually took them out of tap. We poured out what was in there and started tap water.
well, I don't have any anyways. So it's okay. I drink tap water. I cook with it every day. I don't care. You know, I trust it.
Relax.
Some people don't.
That was your problem.
Okay, do you owe any back taxes or liens on any government agency, including federal, state, city, RETA, water bills, property taxes, or any other?
When we first moved here, we got into a little bit of a thing with RETA. That's the local.
That's our local tax,
Yeah.
that's what we should rely on.
And I think because the bill comes every year, and my wife handles the bill, so we may be 1 year off on that. But we as soon as we knew about it, we caught ourselves up.
You're on track,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
don't get off.
We try. We do our best.
Thank you.
Well, that's why I need this job so I can afford to pay the RETA.
Wrong job.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean I'm not in this for the money?
He catches on quick.
Well, why do you want to be on city council?
Well, like I said before, I think there's some things that need to be addressed, and I'm not saying anybody's not doing it, but I'd like to get more involved and see if there's something I can do, something I can offer to make a difference. And I hear the pay's real good.
Back to me. You guys good?
Yeah, good.
Awesome. All right. Going back on economic development, that's very important. What kind of, with your background and, thank you, like Willie said too, for your service. but economic development experience that you may have, and also what your views and ideas are to help improve the economic development for our city, and the role our partner with the Port Authority will play in it.
What was the last part of that question? Something
That's
about
part
the
deals
Port
with
Authority?
our Port Authority. The Port Authority is a partner of ours that helps to market this city for economic development. What role is your ideas, what role would they play in it as well too?
We talk about Port Authority, but I don't see a port. I mean, what is it? Is it the marina? Is that, I mean, I don't know what, so if we want to develop in that area, let's do it. Let's build it up. Let's make a, you know, make it a destination. People to come and check out our waterfront. I know Marietta's got a nice waterfront downriver, and why couldn't we? We got that pretty bridge out there, and that's a nice sight, you know. But that's one thing, but I think more important than that even is just to attract a business that will employ people at entry-level positions, kind of like in Wintersville, they have the Walmart warehouse, or we had something like that would employ a couple hundred people. That would help. I think it would help. And if we can attract businesses like that through tax holidays or whatever we can do to attract them in, then I think we could do that. And we could probably partnership with the state to do that too. I'm sure the state would be interested in that as well.
No, on my question.
Well, he kind of went into my, the port, or not the port, I'm sorry, the marina. The marina is part of your area. And I can't do this again. Economic development is very important in your area. I mean, you have the most, right now, the area, you have a lot going on in your ward. You do know your boundaries, where your boundaries are.
Pretty much, yeah, okay.
With that being said, at one time I made the comment, I would like to sell Marina, because at the time, 4 years ago, that we were in financial difficulties. Just thinking of just get rid of land because it's part of our recreation department. We only have 2 people in our recreation department, and I thought maybe that might be the right thing to do. Looking back, I was probably made, it was a wrong statement, but have you ever been to the marina?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I took my dogs down there.
Give me your vision of marina. What would you think would be markets, some kind of,
Well, I mean, the rivers are kind of an interesting thing. People like rivers, you know. I like the river. And what if we had tour boats or something? I don't know what kind of sights there are to see, but I mean, that would be one way. But I mean, the geese are all over that thing most of the time, you know, and there's lots of cleanup that needs to be done. And there's a lot of things that we could do, and I'd like to entertain, you know, ideas. Maybe there's some private businesses that we could get an agreement with to let them use the marina for something. I don't know whether it be boat rides or renting out the park for functions and things like that, or whatever. But that, I think it's an asset, and I think it would be a mistake to sell it. But we ought to do something with it.
right, it is an asset.
But I don't know. I don't want to be really specific. I don't know people that would be able to do something. But yeah, I agree that we could do something.
Thank you, Jeff.
Mr. King, if you do not receive this job, are you going to run in 2 years?
I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. And, I mean, this came up so suddenly. I just well, why not? I'll just throw. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not important. It's an important thing, and I think I have something to contribute. But I'm not gonna you know go kill myself. I don't. And I might run. I mean, I could be convinced, but it depends. Maybe we'll get a good. Maybe the person who's hired here will be good, and I'll help him or her with their campaign.
Thank you.
All right. two last, Scott. I'm going to phrase mine a little bit differently for yours, but do you use social media?
Not very much.
Okay, all right. So my question, basically dealt with social media and voicing opinions on there, and how you're frustrated with city government when you go on a rant or rave on Facebook, and how going forward, social media and local governance would be for you.
No, I don't think I would. I mean, there's certain things that are just not polite or politic to air your dirty laundry like that. That's not something to do. But if it's an issue and it's groundswell, I would entertain bringing that up and, let's talk about it in council.
And then lastly, talk a lot about Lake City and the county. Okay, and at times, county cities work well together, at times they not. And I always said the times we didn't check rate goes at the door, and that caused problems. How do you feel you would work, and what kind of cooperation between the city and county would you help with?
I don't think I have the tools to answer that question.